World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, and the Philadelphia Eagles are still Super Bowl champions for one more night. And the Philadelphia Phillies are still in first place. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, it's Cowboys week. Boy, it feels odd on the opening weekend as the Eagles ready to defend their Super Bowl starting tomorrow night. The Phillies bounced back from the Mets disaster with a nice series against the Braves and an opening game win against the first-place Brewers on Monday night. We've got it all covered, and we're making our Eagles season picks, and I defend my title in both the regular season picks and the margin of victory pool, pal. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
That we do, Bill, and we know that each and every one of our viewers is waiting with bated breath for our picks and our Eagles season predictions too, of course, not to mention the return of Boop. So a couple of pretty other great guests as well that you're going to talk about too.
Yes, sir. We are loaded with great guests tonight. And Eagles broadcast legend, Hall of Famer Merrill Reese, Bleeding Green Nation's Brandon Lee Gowton, and Boop, as you said. Yes, Bob Vitrone Jr. is back tonight to kick off our football picks.
Yeah, going to be fun for sure. We will squeeze in a few minutes at least on the first place Phillies as well. And you know what, Bill? It may not be a perfect show, but I'm confident it's going to go a whole lot better than Bill Belichick's return to coaching in the college ranks the other night.
Oh, that was ugly. That was ugly. That was a beatdown.
It sure was.
That was a beatdown. Hey, well, let's get to it. Let's welcome our friend from Bleeding Green Nation, Brandon Lee Gowton, back to Philly Pressbox Radio. BLG, welcome back. It's Cowboys week.
Can't hear you, Brandon. Can't hear you. Hang on.
There we go.
There you go.
Much better now. Sorry about that. I got too excited. Forgot to unmute.
Exactly.
I can't wait. Eagles, Cowboys tomorrow night. Been waiting for this for a long time. We haven't seen this game between these two teams in week one since the year 2000. So it's been a while, and I'm excited.
Well, as we're talking, it is about 25 hours ahead of the Eagles and Cowboys kicking off the 2025 NFL season. So what do you think? Will the Birds offense this year look much different from last year's when they, evolved into a run-heavy team? They changed the offensive coordinator yet again, Kevin Patullo this time around. Is it going to look any different?
So I have a hard time believing they're just going to go away from a formula that worked so well for them last year. Obviously, there's going to be adjustments, right? We know that. It's a new offensive coordinator. It's a whole offseason of teams getting to try to come up with a plan to slow down Saquon Barkley. They're probably going to have to pass more just by virtue of they had a really favorable schedule last year. It's a tougher schedule this year. Probably going to be down a little bit more than they were at times last year. Going to have to pass the ball in some of those situations. But when you have Saquon Barkley and he looks as good as he did in this offseason, doesn't look like a guy that had all those touches last year, looks fully ready to go, I think they're still going to be running the ball quite often.
BLG, Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. Chet has a feeling that we're going to see a lot more passing from him. How high can this bar go for Jalen Hurts? I got thinking about this. He probably has played the two best games of his career in the Super Bowls. He was MVP of both of those Super Bowls, even though he didn't win one of them. His two best games as a pro were in those two games.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the key thing, right? When he's needed to pass the ball in the biggest moments, he's been able to do it. So it's not as simple as like, oh, he just can't do it. At the same time, we did see the Eagles try to come out with a pass-heavy approach early in 2024, and that really wasn't serving them well. There were a lot of turnovers. The offense was out of sorts a little bit, and they pivoted to the running game in a big way. So Probably going to try to find a balance between those things a little bit more this year. But again, I just still lean towards the run being so much a part of this. And part of that is a credit to Jalen Hurts because of what he can do with his mobility and teams and defenses needing to respect that. That opens up a lot of opportunities for Saquon Barkley. But there will be times, again, more this year where I think Jalen Hurts will have to do a little bit more of the heavy lifting at times with the passing game.
I mentioned the fact that there's a new offensive coordinator yet again. Does it help that Kevin Patullo has been with Nick Sirianni this whole time with the Eagles?
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on Kevin Patullo a little bit from a standpoint of it's just like, oh, this is Nick Sirianni's right-hand man. So it's not going to be all that different. I would push back on that from a standpoint of Kevin Patullo entered the NFL in a different place, and he's had experience in other NFL stops before he teamed up with Nick Sirianni. So although those two, have worked together and certainly are comfortable with each other, I think Kevin Patullo brings his own ideas to what this team wants to do offensively. And so there will be some tweaks. And also we saw how part of the reason why the Eagles struggled going from what they were in 2022 with Shane Steichen to 2023 with Brian Johnson was a lack of fresh ideas. And by the Eagles' own admission, and part of why they brought in Kellen Moore last year. So I think they're going to be a little bit more cognizant that they have to make some tweaks, some adjustments to what they're doing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? The offense is good. You have a lot of talented players. That's not the case of what you need to do, but you do need to bring some kind of tweaks and adjustments to the table.
BLG, Landon Dickerson has been out a bit. Cam Jurgens had surgery in the offseason on his back. Jordan Mailata has had a concussion. Is everybody full go for tomorrow? Can we expect the offense basically the same offense as last year?
Yeah, the
personnel
only player,
wise?
Yes, the offensive line looks ready to go. Now we'll see with Landon Dickerson in terms of being able to make it through the game because he did have a pretty serious looking knee injury back in August. He was removed from the injury report in terms of the knee designation this week, but it popped up with a back issue, didn't practice. So you don't love to see that. Missed practice on Monday, but he was back in full force on Tuesday. No injury designation for this game, so he will play. We'll monitor that. The only injury in terms of a player being ruled out is Tanner McKee, Eagles backup quarterback, so it'll be Sam Howell backing up Jalen Hurts as the number 2. Obviously, the Eagles will hope to not have to go to him, but in that event, that's why the Eagles made that trade to kind of have an option there that they would be able to pivot to in an emergency situation.
I guess the one major question on a lot of folks' minds is the secondary. We know Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Reed Blankenship are the sure things, or as sure thing as they can be. But who is the free safety? Who's the other cornerback? Is there enough depth?
Yeah, that's a really good. It's a fair question, a fair concern. I think it's safety. We're going to see Sidney Brown start week 1. And that might not have been the case if Andrew Makuba didn't get hurt late in training camp. He suffered a hamstring injury in the team's penultimate training camp practice there. But he has obviously had highlights. It looked like he was going to overtake Sidney Brown for that job where he had that interception in the Eagles' second preseason game there. But for now, I think it'll be Sidney Brown starting. I think Andrew Makuba might overtake him even early in the season. It's notable that Vic Fangio said that Andrew Makuba is ahead of where Cooper DeJean was at this time last year. And we saw, Cooper DeJean eventually take over. I think it was like week 6 after the Eagles had that bye last year. So we could see Makuba here at some point. He's also been the 6th defensive back in their dime packages. But it's Sidney Brown to start, I think, for now. At cornerback, we're going to see Adoree Jackson starting across from Quinyon Mitchell there, the opposite side of the field. And that's in nickel defense, obviously. In base defense, the Eagles have been using Cooper DeJean on the outside. The Eagles don't play a ton of base, of course, so those aren't too many snaps that we'll see. But it's a real concern from a standpoint of the Eagles really wanted Keely Ringo to win that job, and all he had to do was clear the low bar of Adoree Jackson, and he couldn't do that. And Keely Ringo ended up basically being demoted out of the competition altogether, and it's Adoree Jackson getting the chance in week 1. We'll see if Jacorian Bennett eventually gets some time here. It could be as early as maybe halftime if Adoree Jackson is struggling early on. But for now, to start the season, it'll be Adoree Jackson at cornerback and Sidney Brown at safety.
Well, Philadelphia fans especially, don't like to say that Dak Prescott has played pretty well against the Eagles, which he has over the years. He's put up some big numbers. Eagles have won a lot of the games. New weapons on the outside, or weapon with Pickens out there. CeeDee Lamb is as good as they get, top 5 probably in the league. Miles Sanders is going to be running back 1, I guess, for them. What do you expect from Vic Fangio on the defense? Do you see with these young corners and young DBs that you might see something a little bit different to cover Lamb and Pickens?
Yeah, Vic Fangio talked about this week that he may have given the defense a little bit too much latitude and credit early on last season. Week 1, he thought they could handle a little bit more than they really could. So maybe that's an adjustment here as they're going into this season. At the same time, this is the second year for a lot of these guys. They might be more comfortable in this defense that was, in addition to just being incredibly talented, so fundamentally sound last year. And I think, you obviously give them some benefit of the doubt of being able to do that again, considering how good Fangio was, and he's earned that respect. And also part of why the reason you look at some of the weaknesses here, you might be able to just think, okay, Vic Fangio will figure this out to some extent. Again, a benefit of the doubt factor there. But, look at this Cowboys offense. The running back situation is probably one of the weakest in the league. The offensive line situation, I think Tyler Smith's a really good player at left guard, but that unit as a whole, there's question marks there, shaky. So, Dak Prescott has had some success. The receivers do look good on paper, but that Cowboys offense still has some question marks as well.
So Bill and our guy Boop and I, later in the show, will make our predictions for week 1, the Eagles, Cowboys, plus a few other games. Right now, the line is 8.5. It had been 7.5. The over-under 47.5. What are you thinking happens Thursday night?
Yeah, I like an Eagles win. Surprise, surprise. But I mean, that's a very large number. It's actually the biggest week 1 spread. Like the Eagles are the biggest favorites in the NFL in a division game. Again, this Cowboys team, I look at their defense now that Micah Parsons is gone. What a terrible job by them to not keep him. Who strikes fear in you, really? I mean, Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland have had success in the past. Bland's coming off a bit of a down year there. Diggs is coming off multiple injuries to the knee. So there's some question marks there. Again, that offensive line for the Cowboys, I think the Eagles are going to be able to get after that. Jalen Carter looked awesome as ever this season, especially when he really wants to lock in and kind of just take over. He can do that. And I think we could see that on Thursday night here. So I like the Eagles to win this game. Maybe they don't cover because it's a division game, and 8.5 is a bit of a big number there. Cowboys could get some garbage time in their production. I ultimately think the Eagles win this game in Philadelphia with the crowd so hyped up as the Eagles reveal their Super Bowl 59 banner.
Brandon, you mentioned Jalen Carter. We saw Jordan Davis early on in camp, coming to camp, looked like a trimmed down contract year kind of guy. Did we see out of Davis much improvement in camp? What are you expecting from him? Definitely slimmed down and looking better.
Yeah, I think part of what I need to see from Jordan Davis is not what we're going to see in just week 1, as much as, over the course of the season, because that's the big question. Is the conditioning over the course of the season, is he going to be able to hold up and handle what you would think is an increased workload in terms of snaps played? I mean, Jordan Davis was ultimately 4th on this team in defensive tackle snaps last year. He was behind Jalen Carter. He was behind Milton Williams. He was behind Moro Ojomo when you include the playoffs there. So, look, I think Jordan Davis is a solid player, but with the Eagles picking up his 5th-year option, they're really counting on him to be more than that. They're counting on him and probably ideally hoping he can earn a contract extension and be a core player for this team. And he has all that in terms of personality. I think that, this is a very well-liked and respected player in that locker room, but the on-field production has to match. And, it's not stats are everything, but you kind of have to produce probably more than 1 or 2 sacks this season. That'd be really nice to see here. And even some tackles for loss mixed in there. So it's a really big year for him as he goes into this season.
So Brandon, as I put the Eagles schedule up on the screen, is it possible that we could see another 2-2 start for the Birds like last year, or heaven forbid 1-3? What do you think?
Well, I don't think there's a single Philadelphia Eagles supporter out there who thinks they're winning in week 4, because that Tampa is just cursed for them. Mm-hmm. It feels like it's going to be similar to it was last year, 1 billion degrees, and they're just in the sun. And for whatever reason, that team just has this team's number. Jalen Hurts struggles to go up against Todd Bowles. Baker Mayfield seems to go wild. So I don't feel good about that one. So I'm definitely thinking that could be a loss there in week 4.
Chiefs and the Rams in 2 and 3. So that's not easy.
Those are tough games as well, especially in Kansas City.
Yeah.
After that Super Bowl, they're going to be motivated to come out for that one. We saw the Eagles win in Kansas City after they lost the previous Super Bowl they played in. They were really motivated for that game. So I could absolutely see that. I think that's fair to say. And I'm sure even if they do that, there will be not like, full-blown panic, the season's over, but certainly there will be some not feeling as good as it does right now, for sure. And that can kind of go away fast when you enter the season with all this hope and all this optimism, and rightfully so. But then a couple losses hit and it doesn't feel quite the same.
I think the Chiefs are still looking for their blanket and stuffed animals the Eagles stole from them in the Super Bowl.
That was a beatdown.
Yes, it was. BLG, Howie Roseman getting a lot of credit, well-deserved for this roster that he continues to put together year after year. Nick Sirianni, not so much. Nick Sirianni can't do much more than a coach could do since he's been here, yet, like Jalen Hurts, under the radar and not getting all the love he probably deserves.
Insane how he has one of the very highest win percentages in NFL history. The fifth highest, actually. He's behind only Guy Chamberlain, John Madden, Vince Lombardi, and George Allen. It's pretty good company.
And they're all in Canton.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good spot to be in there. It's kind of funny because I think there are times where relative to some other coaches, because he doesn't call plays and he obviously just doesn't have the long track record. He has a very good track record of what he's done here, that obviously, he doesn't always get that same kind of benefit of the doubt, and the fact that the talent and Howie Roseman do get so much credit, as you said. That's how it all goes into the perception here, and the perception that, there's been some bad moments as well. And obviously the good has way outweighed those moments. But certainly people will kind of hang on to those as well. So it's kind of it's a nuanced conversation, because I think as much as Nick Sirianni does deserve credit, I think if you're making a list, of the biggest reasons why this team is really good, I don't think he's up there at the very, very top, and that's okay. Doesn't have to be, because it's a really good infrastructure in place. But I think some people, obviously would maybe go too overboard when they're being critical.
Hey, Brandon, we got a new viewer checking us out here, and this is a great question. For me, favorite Eagles-Cowboys memories. Well, first of all, I go back to 1980 when the Eagles beat them in the NFC Championship game in early 81, when they beat the Cowboys in T.O.'s return to Philly in 2006, I guess that was. And then it was that one season also when the Eagles had to beat the Cowboys, and about 8 other things had to happen on the final day of the season. Everything worked out. The Eagles smoked the Cowboys. That was great. What are your favorite Eagles-Cowboys memories, Brandon?
Yeah, 44-6 really stands out to me. That just instantly jumps to my mind. I mean, that's just an all-time performance. They just dominated that team in that game. That felt like, that's kind of like goosebumps kind of a feeling of how many things just went right for the Eagles that day to even be in that position. I remember, I'll never forget Brian Dawkins looking at the sky and being so thankful. And what was his final game, right, at Lincoln Financial Field?
Oh, yeah.
To be in that spot. I just think that's kind of sometimes you feel like the NFL is scripted just because of it's too good to be true. That felt like a too good to be true moment. And that's an all-timer for sure.
Hey, I got to throw in, because I'm older than most. BLG, you might not even been born. But I want to say 1966.
Yes.
I believe. Eagles Cowboys. I was a kid there with my dad. That's the game that Timmy Brown ran the 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns, and Aaron Martin ran a punt return back for a touchdown, and the Eagles won that day, I believe 21-20, if my long memory serves me right. And that is my first love for the Philadelphia Eagles and for pro football as a kid.
Nice.
And I was there.
All right, guys, we got to wrap it up with Brandon, but I texted you the other day, asked you for your prediction, and you said how many wins this year?
That's the score of that game, by the way, was 24-23. So close. It was a 1-point game.
Okay.
So pretty good. My win prediction for the Eagles this year, I'm sticking with what I did back in May, is 12-5.
There you go.
There you go. BLG, before we let you go, let everyone know where they can follow what you're doing, what Bleeding Green Nation's doing in all your social platforms.
Yeah, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, anywhere you have social media. Check me out, Brandon Gowton, Brandon Lee Gowton. Should be able to find me there. And obviously my written work on bleedinggreennation.com, where I tell people that if you just sign in, there's a spot where you can log in, create an account. You can comment if you want. You don't have to. But if you just log in, you make an account, you see fewer ads than you would if you're not logged in. So it's a pretty easy incentive there. It's free to sign up. Doesn't cost you anything to sign in. You see fewer ads. It's a win. bleedinggreennation.com.
Brandon,
right.
No Sixers talk tonight, but that's okay. Nobody's going to complain
That's
about
fine.
the fact
Yeah.
that we didn't get to the Sixers.
Yeah.
Have a great season, man.
Thanks,
guys.
BLG. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Chet, we got to throw this up here. Robbie,
Yeah.
this is a great one.
Oh, yeah.
The
absolutely.
Emmitt Smith stopping them twice on fourth down. That was classic. So
That is
many
another-
great Cowboys.
They stopped him
moments.
again.
He stopped them again. Yes, he did. Hey,
Classic.
Chet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal, Phil Stifle, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep. You can find Philly Pressbox Radio there, in addition to on our own YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chet, September is here. What's going on at the Irish Rover Station House?
Ah, yes, the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, one of my favorite haunts. Great beer, great food. The Rover has trivia every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Dinner specials Thursday through Sunday. They have Killer Burger Thursdays and Thursday evening specials on wings and Stella Artois. Oh, yes, the car show is coming up. It's usually on Father's Day, but as you know, they had to postpone it because of some nasty weather on Father's Day back in June. So it will happen this Sunday starting at 9 a.m. The Father's Day Car Show, always a great event with a couple hundred classic and antique cars there on display in the Rover's massive parking lot. If you have yet to visit the Irish Rover Station House, shame on you. Check this place out. The Irish Rover Station House is on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne, PA, and you can find all the details on everything happening there at IrishRoverStationHouse.com.
Hi, this is Angelo Cataldi. You are watching Philly Pressbox Radio starring Bill and Chet. And let me tell you something. These guys know their sports. These guys are the successor to what we did at WIP for many years. So don't miss it.
There you
Yeah.
go, Ange. Good to
How
see
about
you.
that?
There you go. Hey, Chet, Phillies bounced back from the Mets series with great pitching against the Braves. They won 3 out of 4, including a record-tying night from Kyle Schwarber. 4 bombs in one game. What a fun game that was.
Oh, yeah.
Rolled into Milwaukee and won, maybe their best game of the season. The Mets lost again today already. The Phils are back to 6 games ahead. Need to take this series from the Brewers. Need to get one tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, would be nice. The Schwarber game the other night, amazing. He's got 49 homers, 119 ribbies right now here on September 3rd. So that Ryan Howard record of 58 homers in a season is within sight. The magic number, if the Mets lost today, as you said, would be down to 18. Gotta love that. I'm not worried about winning the division. I think we got that. I really want to see them secure that second best record in the league. Ahead of the Dodgers. Milwaukee will concede them, given them the top spot, but I would love to see the bye. I know it didn't work out last year, but I want to get that second seed and a first-round playoff bye, especially because I don't want to play the Mets in the opening round.
Yeah, well, I hate to be one of those I told you so guys, especially when I'm
you love
talking to
that.
you. Well, when I'm talking to you. Didn't somebody say that Kyle Schwarber would drive in a whole lot more runs if he wasn't in the leadoff spot?
I don't know. I'll have to check the tape.
Yeah, you might want to check the tape on that. You might also want to check on how many games they won with him in the 1 spot and how many games they're going to win with him in the 4 spot, because he's having a pretty good year. I just wish he would get out of this little funk he's in, because he's struggling a little bit here down the stretch, which, a lot of MVP chance for Schwarber, rightfully so, but it's going to be tough to win an MVP if you're hitting 242, 245, something like that at the end of the year.
But yeah, other than that 4-homer game, he has been a little bit of a funk lately. So would love to see him get it going once again. But Bryce has been hitting well. And how about Harrison Bader? That's looking like a great trade deadline signing
far.
all of a sudden. He's
Sure
been
is.
very good lately.
Sure is. And Trey Turner is on pace, if he continues, for 200 hits.
Yeah.
No one's done that since Jimmy Rollins.
Competing for the batting crown.
Competing for the batting crown, yeah. And how about Suarez, Sanchez, and Luzardo? Night in and night out, those three are getting it done.
Yeah, we need a big one from Nola tonight also. We'll see how that goes. I saw Joe Howe. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Joe Howe.
Happy
birthday, Joe. But now I'm going to diss you because you're again complaining about Bohm. There it is. How about Bohm? He's been okay. Bohm's been hitting pretty well. And
how about the fact they win games when Bohm's in the lineup?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they say all you want. When Bohm was out, they didn't play as well as they did with Bohm in the lineup. So, Joe, you're fighting a losing battle with that with us.
But happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah, happy birthday, Joe. Have a scrapple sandwich and send the bill to Chet.
What do you think of the pickup of Walker Buehler? They're going to add him to the rotation, I believe, on September 11th or thereabouts, and give him a few starts. They go to a 6-man rotation through the end of the year, which I guess makes sense. Give guys a little more time off. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. He wasn't great this year. So.
No, but he got a little trouble up there in Boston. I know he got thrown out of I think it was his last game that he pitched. He got thrown out. He something just wasn't quite right up there in Boston, whatever it was. So, I mean, if he can get us a couple quality starts, we'll take them, right?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. And I mentioned Nola. If the playoffs were to start today, and this is a question a lot of people are asking on Sports Talk Radio, who is the game 2 starter? We know it's Christopher Sanchez in game 1, assuming you have the ability to set your rotation however you want it. Who is the game 2 starter? Is it Nola? Is it one of the lefties?
Well, I think, as I said, I think the 3 lefties would have to be your 3 guys if it were today. I think they're the 3 guys that have earned a spot.
Yeah, so
Nola
would not be in the rotation for that first series.
And it's just a shame he can't get through one inning. It's one inning always gets them. They're allowed to be down 3-0 tonight after the first inning.
Now, to his credit, last time out, he had the horrible first inning, gave up, 4 runs, and then settled down, kept them in the game, and it was a wild game. Phillies won, and he was pretty good over the next 4 or 5 innings. So, you don't know what you're going to get with Aaron Nola anymore, but we need him. Come on, Aaron.
Yeah, and are you surprised any that the Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford moves did not happen? Does that surprise you on the expanded rosters? They didn't bring those 2 guys up.
I'm not surprised about Painter because, I just don't think he's ready from what we're hearing from some people. He did not have a great year. Is it the injury? Is it something else? Is he going to be a bust? I don't know. As you said to me in a message, they made him, hands off, can't touch this guy at the trade deadline. So they still like him. And as I said to you, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out next spring. Are they going to, give him sort of a spot in the rotation? Is he going to have to earn it? Is he going to start the year with the big club or, have to stick it out in the minors for another couple of months?
Yeah, well, we knew all along that he was going to be on an inning count for the year, right? They said that from the start. Whether those innings came in the big leagues or in AAA, there was going to be an inning count, and maybe he reached that. They didn't tell us what that was, I don't think. So maybe he reached it, and they're going to shut him down and let him go rest and be ready for spring training. He certainly should be 100% by then. With the chance to be that guy that they're going to need next year because everybody ain't going to be back.
Yeah, we don't think Suarez is going to be back, but now with the Wheeler situation, that could change. Who knows? As far as Justin Crawford, though, I really thought they would call him up, but they want him to play every day. But because the outfield guys have been playing so well of late, Marsh and Bader in particular, they're not ready to give him an everyday spot. So I guess it makes sense to keep him playing every day at Lehigh Valley.
You already have a disturbed Nick Castellanos.
Cassie's not happy.
Best word I could come up with for cutting into his playing time. But Kepler is playing a little bit better, hitting a little bit better. And, for the moment, Rob Thompson's pushing the right buttons. We'll see if that can continue on. I know tonight Marsh is not in the lineup. So we'll see how it goes.
Bill, time to go tailgating.
Yeah, and what better way in September to tailgate than with Phillies baseball and the Eagles with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia, Bob Cavanaugh and the gang of Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Well, now that you mention it, Bill, I will tell you a little bit about them. Cav and his crew, they've been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years, known best for their tailgate parties. Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgate's Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate parties. You name it. Cav hosts tailgates before all Eagles games outside the link. And that starts, of course, on Thursday evening ahead of the Eagles-Cowboys opener. There will also be tailgate parties, before all of the upcoming home games, including September 21st against the Rams, and then when the Broncos come to town in early October. Plus, as I said, all future home games too. Get all of the details at the Cav websites, which is phillytailgates.com. And if you do have any questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. And Bill, we are one day from the start of the regular season, so we got to put Jalen up there again. Have a great year, Jalen.
There you go. Hey, Chet, before I forget, I made myself a note, but we're going to be tight on time. Tonight at 8:00 on the NFL Network, I believe it's called America's Game is the name of the show. I want to say that's what it is a 2024 documentary on your Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Now, are we assuming this is different from the one that was on the Roku channel?
Yeah, this is done by NFL Network, and I didn't see the one on Roku, but this is the first time it's being shown, and it comes on right after Philly Pressbox Radio.
Cool. So we are there leading. That is awesome.
There you go. Hey, you had a chance to visit with the Hall of Fame Eagles voice, Merrill Reese, to discuss those 2025 Eagles. Is Merrill as fired up as he usually is?
He turned 83 yesterday, Bill. 83 years young, Bill. And he is still fired up, excited about another season kicking off. So let's get right to it. Here is our chat.
To the last possible second. But in a case...
No. It's the beginning.
59. What a game. What a season. What a team.
Another Eagles football season is upon us, and as happens every September at about this time, I get to talk about it with the longtime radio voice of the Birds and a Pro Football Hall of Famer, the great Merrill Reese. Welcome back, Merrill.
Thank you, Jim. Glad to be back.
Well, Merrill, first thing, as much as we as Eagles fans loved the way Super Bowl 59 played out, it didn't have the drama at the end like Super Bowl 52 did. Were you thinking about that as the clock wound down, on that route, how you were going to call the end of the game?
Well, I was just enjoying it. I mean, I like drama as much as anybody, and I love those games that go to the last possible second. But in a case like this, I was just so happy to see the Eagles annihilate the Kansas City Chiefs that I wasn't looking for any extra drama. And I just said what came to my mind. And I said, what a game, what a season, what a team. This is the greatest team in Eagles modern history. And it was.
Yeah, I agree. Well, regarding last season, how much fun was it watching that new to the Eagles running back, Saquon Barkley? What did he have? 7 runs of 60 yards or more, including the postseason?
Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing. I was always an admirer of his, even going back to his Penn State days. He's a great back. There's no question about that. And watching him do some of the most incredible things that everybody focuses on, that backward leap. But he did something every game. He was just great. But here's the big thing, Jim. Steve Spagnuolo and the defensive minds of the Kansas City Chiefs said, what we have to do to beat the Eagles is stop Saquon Barkley. And they did limit him. And they put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, and he beat them with his arm. He did, for the most part, and his running. So they showed in that Super Bowl that they were not just a Saquon Barkley-driven team.
Yeah. Now it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year if they're going to, maybe give Barkley a bit of a break. But the receiving core is great. A.J. Brown banged up a little bit during training camp. We didn't see him or Devontae Smith, of course, in those preseason games, but we did see lots of Jahan Dotson, Darius Cooper, and the guy they acquired in an August trade with Houston, John Mechie. Looks like some good depth among the wide receivers. What do you expect from this core this year?
Well, number one, it's as good a pair when you talk about those two, Smith and A.J. Brown. They're great. But when you talk about the fact that you add Jahan Dotson, he is such an outstanding receiver. Don't forget, he was the number one draft choice of the Washington Commanders, and he was one of the all-time great receivers in Penn State history. I loved him then. I love to watch Penn State football, and I loved him then. And I think that this year, where he's had the full training camp, especially without Brown and Smith taking much part in the day-to-day activities, I think he's going to be a big part of it. I think he's going to have a much more significant role this year than he did a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Hey, on our show, we talk often about the fact that the quarterback, despite being the Super Bowl MVP, is still considered by many so-called experts, only the fifth or sixth or seventh best quarterback in the league. And the fact that he's, in their minds, not in the elite tier. How do you assess what Jalen Hurts has brought to this team?
Well, if that's how they assess it, then I don't consider them experts. I think Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in football. I think he does it all. He's a great leader. He's a guy who's totally dedicated. He's football all the time. His arm, for some reason, is greatly underestimated. I used to shake my head when people said he had marginal arm strength. He's got a great arm. Doug Peterson called me in the first day he arrived. He said, I want you to watch this kid on the field. He can make every throw. He's one of the best deep passers in all football. I mean, he may not try to knock you over if you're 10 yards away, but if you're 60 yards away, he can hit you in stride. There's nothing he can't do with the football. He is a top 5 quarterback. I don't care what anybody says, and Jalen knows how I feel about him.
Well, speaking of which, Merrill, I saw you on Dan Silio's show several weeks back when you revealed that the quarterback gave you a little gift. I'm going to put a picture of that on the screen in a minute, but tell me about what Jalen did for you.
Well, I was sitting in the press tent one day after practice and after the interviews, and somebody from the equipment room came out with a box. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, there were a brand new pair of the Air Jordan custom Eagles cleats. And as you see, it said to M. Reese, you saw it when no one else could. Love always, Jalen Hurts. And boy, did that mean a lot to me.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. Hey, let's talk about the defense. Brandon Graham has retired. Several other key guys have departed, via free agency. A lot of people have questions about the secondary still with Slay, CJ, GJ, and some of the depth guys gone. Can Vic Fangio's defense be at least close to what it was last year?
Oh, I think it can be just as good, if maybe even better. I really do. I think when you add somebody like Jahad Campbell, you just watch him grow and develop. He would have been a top 5 or 6 pick, no doubt, if he hadn't had a shoulder injury, which he recovered from before camp even began. He was ready for camp at the very beginning. He's going to be a great player. There's no doubt in my mind, and you'll see the way Vic uses him once he starts throwing him in from the outside and points him towards the quarterback. He's going to do some amazing things. There's no doubt that they have a lot of talent there. And Zach Bourne was the big surprise last year. I don't think Jahad Campbell's going to be a surprise to anybody because he wasn't exactly an unknown. He's a great player. So I think they're going to be fine. I think Sidney Brown will do fine if he is the starting safety. He hits like a Brian Dawkins. He can tear you apart. And I think that I don't know exactly what they're going to do at the corner, but I would think that it's probably going to be Jackson to start the season.
Going to be interesting. Merrill, that stunning trade the other day, the Cowboys sending linebacker Micah Parsons to the Packers. What does that mean for the Packers' outlook this year? And what does it mean for Dallas, the Eagles' opponent Thursday night, for the near term?
Well, I took a deep breath and I thought to myself, well, the Eagles don't have to worry about Micah Parsons Thursday night. Yeah. And then I thought again and I said, but they are going to have to worry about him later in the season. Yep. He's one of the greatest defensive players in the game today. And that's a big boost. It's a big loss. I don't care what they have with the 2 first-round draft choices. When you trade somebody like Micah Parsons, who almost fits into the description that we used to have for Lawrence Taylor as one of the great, most impactful defensive players in the game, you've lost a lot. I think Dallas, in giving up on signing him, made a big mistake.
Not sure if this will change as rosters are finalized ahead of the opener, but I read the other day that the Eagles roster is the second youngest in the National Football League, behind only Green Bay's. That's a credit to Howie Roseman, and I would think it sets the Eagles up for, success for several years to come.
Oh, I think it does too. I think Lane Johnson was the only member of the offense who's over 30.
Yeah.
And I think the defense is young too. I mean, you have a couple of guys there who are like Jackson, who are a little bit up there, but they're not old football players. They're at their prime. So it is a young team. And the big thing to remember is Jalen Hurts is just 27 years old. He just turned 27 a couple of weeks ago. And quarterbacks don't even reach their peak, I don't think, till they're about 30. That's when the great quarterbacks. Now, there are guys like Patrick Mahomes who go crazy as soon as they come in. But you look at the great quarterbacks over the years and look at the years that Peyton Manning and Eli Manning had in their 30s. And you look at the way that many of the great quarterbacks unite over the years going back. But quarterbacks are around for a while and they get wiser and wiser and wiser. Maybe they don't run as well as they did at 22 or 23 and they're taking some pounding, but they see the field better and they make better decisions. So I think the ceiling for Jalen Hurts is amazing. It's way up there, and I think he's going to hit it. I think that 10 years from now or 15 years from now, when all is said and done, we will look back and say he is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. And there have been some very good ones. I mean, Ron Jaworski was a wonderful quarterback for Dick Vermeil. And Randall Cunningham was probably the most exciting player I've ever seen. And we saw what happened when Nick Foles came in and ended up with a statue made of him because of the famous Philly. I mean, there have been Donovan McNabb. You look in the Eagles media guide, and all of the quarterback records are owned by Donovan McNabb. So he had a great career here. So I mean, I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer. So, but I think one day the Eagles number one will be number one among all their quarterbacks.
And we're hoping this is the year that streak finally ends, where no NFC East division winner repeats. It's been over 20 years. I think it's going to change this year. Last thing, Merrill, several years ago when we did this, I asked you which visiting stadium was your favorite. And before I could even get the question out, you said Lambeau Field. Well, getting out there to Green Bay has always been a bucket list item for me, and I'm happy to say I'll be there on November 10th. Remind everyone again why Lambeau and that town are so special.
My favorite in terms of the feeling of being at Lambeau Field and you walk in there and you look at the field and you picture Vince Lombardi with the condensation coming out of his mouth and you hear John Facenda's voice rumbling about the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. In terms of the feeling and the thrill, Lambeau is my favorite.
I got to tell you, this is always fun. And how does it feel now that you can be introduced all the time as a Pro Football Hall of Fame broadcaster?
It feels good. It's nice. But do you know what the greatest feeling is, Jim?
What's that?
To be able to say that I am the voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, because this is the team that I grew up watching as a kid. It's the team that is right here in my heart and always will be. And it has never gotten old. I am just as nervous on game day as I was 49 years ago. I'm that way before a preseason game. I'm that way before a Super Bowl. So but the greatest thrill is to be able to say that I'm broadcasting Eagles football to the most passionate and most knowledgeable fans in the entire NFL. These people are unbelievably great. I know they boo from time to time. That's just an expression of their passion. But these are the best fans. So to say that I'm the broadcaster of the Eagles, that in itself is enough. And then if you want to add the Hall of Fame in, I won't shy away from it. I'm very, very proud of it.
Folks, this guy's heading into year 49 as the Eagles radio voice.
And I might add, I'm not going anyplace because
all right. I hope not.
I'm here for a while. I'm not. This is a job that I want forever. And next year, God
50th.
willing and everything, will be my 50th. And that doesn't mean it's a goodbye tour, because I'm not. I plan to do it for many years to come.
Love listening to you and Mike. Merrill, thanks again for doing this for, I think it's an 11th straight year we've done this. Always a blast to our viewers, our listeners, and me. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Hey, that's fantastic, Chet, as always.
Wouldn't you love to have a job that you loved as much as Merrill was when he's doing?
When your job is to go to football games on Sunday, as he said, following your favorite team of your life, and being darn good at it too, that helps.
Again, happy 83rd birthday to Merrill. That was yesterday, and he's still going strong. He says 49, 50 years. He's still going. Good
Absolutely.
For you, Merrill.
I think he's just signed an extension, I believe, right? For a couple more years.
Yeah, I'm not sure for how long, but yeah, he did. I think
like maybe
last year.
three more years, maybe.
Yeah.
Yep. Good for him. Good stuff. Hey, we had great guests tonight in Merrill Reese, Brandon Lee Gowton, and of course, Bob Patrone Jr. will be joining us here shortly. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week to kick off the NFL season?
Another couple of great guests next week, Bill. We have from 94 WIP's Ike, Spike, and Fritz show. Let's see where it is. Up there it is. Yeah, from that show, Jack Fritz. He's a former starting pitcher from the Bloomsburg Huskies, by the way. Good old Jack Fritz. And the author of the book, The NFL Off Camera, a terrific read, by the way, Bob Angelo, making a return visit to talk Eagles, the NFL in general, and a little Penn State football as well.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. And we'll have one win under our belt by then. We'll be getting ready to go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Hey, Chet, it's time to make our Eagles predictions and our weekly picks, and we can't do it without Boop. Bob Patrone Jr., welcome back to Philly Pressbox Radio.
Hello, gentlemen. How are we?
We are fantastic.
Oh, my goodness.
So, Boop, before we get started, I've already seen a comment come on our thing. Where's Boop been? What happened to Boop that he has been banished?
I had Tide and Chet tell me who was winning our contest all the time, so I've been hiding in a cave, studying algorithms and logarithms and any kind of rhythms I could to try to take him down.
And still in Facebook jail.
If you needed a reminder, that was me.
Yeah, well,
Here we go.
Wasn't me.
All right, let me put up the standings. You know what, Bill? Look, it's the postseason standings, Bill, where you were in last place. That's the standings from the postseason.
Well, I told you that I had won everything, so I let my granddaughter pick the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, here's the standings from the regular season last year. You finished, Bill, in first place, 59-26, 3 games ahead of Boop. And, yeah, I was 8 games back. Not my finest season, but
you look like the Mets.
Yeah. I'm making my comeback.
All right, so let's get to it. Just to clarify how we're going to do that this year, we changed it up just a little bit. We'll be picking winners of 5 games every week, no point spreads. Always the NFC East games. Always the Sunday night football game, which that could spread us all over the place. And we'll throw in a couple additional games as needed to get to 5 games. Chet, anything to add from the guy that finished dead last season?
No, I got nothing. That's good enough.
There you go. All right, let's get to it. Boop, you good?
I'm very good.
All right, here we go. We've got Giants at Washington, Commanders -6.5, Tampa Bay at Atlanta, the Bucks are -2.5, Lions at Green Bay, Packers are -2.5, Sunday night, the Ravens at Buffalo. The Bills are -1.5. And the Eagles host the Cowboys tomorrow night. The Eagles 7.5 at the time of this was last night when this got put together. So these might
8.5 now.
Just a little bit. We're going with 7.5, but
Okay.
we don't. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter anyway.
Yep. So Boop, who you got? Giants at the Commanders.
The Giants are 1-10 in their last 11 September division games. They got a little better as the year went on towards the end of the year last year, but they're going to start off as bad as always. So I'm going Washington.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants pulled off the upset here, but I'm not going to pull the trigger. I'm going Washington also.
Well, you could start the season 0-1 and take the Giants.
I'm not going to do it.
Because Washington's going to win this game.
Okay.
All right. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Bucks are -2.5. It's a road game for the Bucks.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that the Bucks have won 4 straight division titles, especially since the last 3 years they're 27 and 24. But this is what you get when you have 8 4-team divisions. So that's going to be Tampa Bay again.
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay easily in this one. I think they will win and cover that 2.5 point spread.
Yeah, I like the Bucks in this too. I think Atlanta's going to be a lot better this year, though. But I like the Bucks, and I'm a Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans kind of fan anyway. Lions at Green Bay. The Packers -2.5. All of a sudden, the Packers are winning the Super Bowl because they added one guy on defense and lost the guy.
Lions got 2 new coordinators, a new starting center. Guard's going to come over and play center, and they're going into the only stadium in the league where the owners can boo you. So the Lions might end up being there by the end of the year, but they're going to start off 0-1. Green Bay.
Yeah, I got to go with Green Bay as well. I think Jordan Love's going to be really, really good this year. And if they stay healthy, that team, I think they're going to be maybe playing the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. That's what I heard Ray Didinger say today, by the way. He thinks the Eagles and Packers will be playing for the NFC title.
Well, I feel really good about this game because Bill's going to take a 1-game lead when he takes the Lions.
Whoa.
And Jordan Love is not all that, pal. Nah, stop it.
Okay.
Lions for the win. Now, here's a good game. Ravens at the Bills. -1.5 for the Bills. At least it's not December for the Ravens.
Yeah, whenever I have no rooting interest, I'm always backing Josh Allen. He's the guy that scares me the most other than my 2 teams, the Chiefs and Eagles. So any other matchup, I'm going Josh Allen. Buffalo.
I'm going with the home team as well. I think Buffalo wins this one. Should be a great game, though. I'll be watching. Buffalo wins.
Yeah, I like this game a lot too, and I took Buffalo as well, only because they were at home. The Buffalo. Well, neither one of these teams seem to get it done at the end of the year, but I think this is going to be a good kickoff to Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles, Cowboys. I think we all know where we're going with this. Eagles -7.5. Boop, status up.
Yeah, it's as I say in the NFL, on any given home week 1 Thursday night, anything can happen. But if the Eagles somehow lose this game, everybody Friday is going to be asking when the Sixers training camp starts. So they're not going to lose this game. If they do, it'll be right on the cusp of losing the link opener to Tampa Bay 22 odd years ago.
Do you think they cover, Boop?
Yes, easily.
I'm picking the Eagles.
They're going to be way up, and then Dallas could score a late touchdown, but they're going to win double digits. At least according to my DraftKings picks, anyhow.
All right. Well, I'm not going to change my pick. I picked the Eagles to win, but I have it 27-23. I think Dak is going to do a lot of passing and work over that Eagles secondary. So I think it's going to be kind of close and over 47.5. I'm taking the Eagles 27-23.
Well, I'm taking the Eagles too. I think Dallas is going to score some points. But I think the Eagles are going to score more points. I think that Dallas defense is not good. As I mentioned earlier, CeeDee Lamb's a good player, and they better have a way to cover him because he can make some things happen. So, but I'm going Eagles. So you went the same on all 5 games, you two.
We did, and you have Detroit beating Green Bay. That's the one different one.
All right. We good with that?
Yep.
All right. So, Chet, why don't you take a minute and explain how the margin of victory works for anybody that's new watching?
All right. Yes, sir. It has some similarities to a suicide pool or survivor pool, but it's a margin of victory pool that we're doing for a third season. It's like a survivor pool in that you pick one team to win every week, no repeats. So if you pick somebody this week, you can't use them again all season, but you're not eliminated ever in this one. If the team you pick does win, you get not only a W, but points based on that team's, yes, margin of victory. And it was indeed Bill Furman who won it last year. He had a tremendous finish to the season over the last 5 weeks or so, and he stole the margin of victory crown from me. There you see it. Damn you, Furman.
So, and just to point out by that chart there, it's the points that wins, not the wins and losses.
Right.
As Boop actually had the most wins.
Yeah, how about that? And I had a better record than you, but you picked a lot of big winners, so you had the most points and claimed the crown, Bill. That will not happen again.
Well, we're going to find out. So, Boop, who do you like? Who's your week one pick?
I'm going to go Broncos. The Titans aren't the worst team in the league, but they've been nominated. So I'm probably going to play around early in the year with just playing teams I know are terrible and hoping that somebody like the Broncos catches fire and, wins 50-2 or something.
Damn you, Boop. That is my pick as well. I wanted to go with somebody with a big point spread. And yeah, a lot of people are raving about Denver this year, and the Titans will stink. So Denver is the obvious choice. A lot of upsets can happen in week one because nobody really knows exactly how good or bad some teams are. So Denver is the wise choice. You and I are smart. Let's see who Bill picks.
Well, I actually had it to 2 games, and Denver was one of those games, but I chose to go the other direction.
Okay.
And I took the Arizona Cardinals over the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, that was one of my considerations as well. I think the Saints are going to stink this year. Sorry, Kellen Moore.
Well, and I think Arizona's got a chance to be halfway decent this time around. So
yeah,
that's where I went. So we're good there. So let's get to lastly our Eagles season predictions. And as we know, it's a tough schedule. Boop, what say you about the 2025 Birds?
Wait a second, Boop. Before we do that, let me just tell you this. I surveyed 17 or 18 folks who have been on our show previously, and I added a couple in from the local radio. And here's what I came up with. 20 people. Bob Angelo, who's our guest next week, Jody Mack, and James Seltzer of WIP all went 13-4. Exactly 10 out of the 20 people that I surveyed went with 12-5. Ray Diddy and Paul Domowitch among the folks who went 11-6. Jack Fritz also, who is our guest next week. And there you have at the bottom, Angelo Cataldi, who last year said 5 wins. This year he is going with 10. So Vegas says it's 11.5 as far as the over-under, and that's where pretty much most people are, right around 11 or 12. So, Boop, the stage is yours.
Yeah, I think they got 13 wins in them, but I'm real afraid about the Week 17 Buffalo game, meaning nothing. Out of conference game when they got the Commanders the next week. They could all ride on Week 18, so they might mail in Buffalo. So I'm going to go 12-5, but if they need that Buffalo game, I think they're 13-4.
All right. Well, I said 11-6 last year, and of course they ended up going 14-3. I'm going to hope for a repeat. I'm going to say 11-6 this year as well, and hope that they actually do better because I'm not wagering on it. So I'm saying 11-6. 12-5 says
12-5. 12-5, and I had to stretch for that 5th loss. There's a couple back-to-back games there that I thought, well, I'm not even sure which ones are going to lose.
That's a pretty tough schedule, guys. That is not an easy schedule.
It
is a
pretty
tough team.
It is, but some of those games I think where we think there's going to be a really good team in Minnesota, but then you have Vic Fangio playing against JJ McCarthy, even though it's on the road. Yeah. I like Vic's chances. I mean, that when I first thought about that schedule, I thought, well, you know what, they could lose that game in Minnesota, and then I'm thinking, well, you're going to throw a darn near rookie out there against this defense. I'm taking the Eagles in that game. So, yeah, there were a few of those along the way. Bo Nix. That's an interesting one for me as well. So, 12-5. I'm with you, Boop. And I will add, Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not going there. I'm not making a prediction, but.
Well, if they do that, Bill, that'll make them just the fourth franchise to win back-to-back titles 2 different times. So there you go, because they won in 48 and 49.
Yep.
Yeah, Bill remembers that one well.
No, I missed that one. But I think they're good enough. Obviously, health is a huge issue, but
sure.
I think they got the talent to run this table.
They are coming out of the less tough bracket. The Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs are going to be beating each other up during the year and in the postseason. And while certainly the Commanders and the Lions and Packers can be formidable, it's like the Southeast region of the NCAA tournament. I'll come out of that and just worry about the final. So I think they got a break in that respect so far.
Last thing, Boop. It's going to depend, of course, on what happens this weekend. But what do you think the line will be for Week 2, Eagles at Chiefs?
I think Chiefs will probably be about 2.5. If they look anything like they should look, they're still the Chiefs. Their offensive line was a little beat up like both Super Bowl losses the Chiefs had. Their offensive line was beat up. If they has a better offensive line, he can beat anybody. We've seen that. My wife is going to be at that game. I will be home watching the dogs. So it'll be fun. But I think the Chiefs are going to end up being a little bit of a favorite, unless the Chargers do something stupid like win in Brazil, which will really not make me happy, but, we'll see.
So is your wife going to see the Eagles game, or is she going to try to get a glimpse of Taylor?
Her sister lives in Topeka, so she's already making it a point to go out that weekend, and they said, let's go to the game. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
My wife is very lucky.
I'm going to hook up with you next week. I'm going to have to party with you next weekend while they're away, Boop.
You mean like 17 dogs.
Sounds like a great time.
All right. Well, Boop, thanks for joining us. Don't be strange or stranger than you are, and show up and hang out with us every week if you get a chance.
As long as I can find the Wi-Fi working somewhere in my house, I'll get back to you.
It's working like a charm tonight.
Yeah, this one worked out well, so that's the spot right there.
Yeah,
all right,
it wasn't booming anywhere else in the area, so.
No booming at Boops. See you, Boop.
All right, Boop. Thanks, buddy.
I'll see you guys.
All right, Chet, anything else before we wrap it? Because we're running out of time.
Wrap it up. We're late.
All right, let's thank tonight's special guests, Merrill Reese, Brandon Lee Gowton, and Bob the Trone Jr. Our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgate, and PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Pressbox Radio next Wednesday, September the 10th at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Let's go Phillies and go Birds.
Let's do the song. Come on.